It's Monday, May the 22nd, 2017, and this is your Barbados Today evening update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, Barbados' tourist arrivals are up more than 8% so far this year. The revelation from Minister of Tourism Richard Seeley, who was speaking to reporters on the sidelines of the annual Congress of the Caribbean Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors at the Hilton Barbados Resort this morning.
I saw some numbers up until the end of April, and 8.2% up on last year in terms of arrivals, and that is that's actually ahead of what we expected, and of course is still a good thing, because 2017, or should I say 2016, was a record year on top of another record year, and for us in 2017 to be trending even higher with respect to arrivals is a good thing.
Barbados cries out for international help in fighting new types of money laundering, which the Attorney General fears threatens the island's way of life. Speaking during this morning's opening of a regional workshop on anti-money laundering at the Radisson Aquatica Resort, Adriel Brathwaite even called on Canada, whose High Commissioner was present.
I'm hearing unofficially we're going back to the dark days of people moving money by aircraft because banking resources are not being made available. It's not. And Madam High Commissioner, if there's one area that I believe that as an international partner that Canada can help us with, it really can damage our economies, damage our way of life. If what we are seeing and what we are hearing, I think Belize has had some issues in terms of losing some corresponding banking relationship. I know the Bahamas has had some issues. We are very concerned about it here in Barbados. But we're going to need some international assistance in terms of lobbying Washington, going into London, wherever the headquarters are.
Meanwhile, the Director of Public Prosecutions is telling commercial banks here to review their anti-money laundering security systems. Charles Leacock warned that banks can no longer rely on documentation from customers to detect dirty money.
We should seek to build a new partnership, not only among law enforcement and the judiciary to enhance the resilience of the system, but also to work with the other sectors of the financial sector, namely through the financial intelligence units and the banking sector, because it's the loss of corresponding banking relationships that's impacting significantly on the profitability and viability of financial institutions. And towards that extent, it's equally in the bank's interest to ensure that they have proper anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism initiatives, that they also have tax transparent initiatives to ensure that those doing business with them can be properly identified and the nature of the transactions properly assessed for the risks that they might pose.
And Canada's High Commissioner Marie Legault said this morning's workshop forms part of a $3.6 million anti-money laundering program which her government is funding for the Caribbean and Latin America.
Money launderers do seek out countries and economic sectors in which there is a low risk of detection, and they do exploit differences between national anti-money laundering systems and countermeasures to launder illicit funds. So that's why it's so important that all systems has less differences between them, so they can not be as exploited as they currently are. Failing to tackle money laundering allows criminals' activity to continue, and with the numbers that we were talking about, they have the resources to continue.
Efforts by health authorities to clear the backlog of hundreds of cataract patients on the waiting list at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by the end of last month have had a setback. Consultant ophthalmologist at the QEH, Dr. Trevor Drakes, told a press conference this morning that the completion date has now been extended to the end of next month. Dr. Drakes said the initiative, which started in mid-January this year with over 500 patients waiting, experienced a number of challenges, including the forced postponement of 32 surgeries due to malfunctioned equipment or patients presenting with elevated blood pressure or viral illnesses. He also said that 256 surgeries had been finished up to last Friday. Meanwhile, the consultant told reporters that health authorities were moving to establish Barbados as the Caribbean Center for ophthalmology services.
The islands surrounding us manage, in some cases, with one ophthalmologist. Therefore, the opportunity is there for us to offer the service. There are obviously things that we will have to put into place to make their care a lot easier. So it is not just saying, well, we offer the service and you jump on a plane and come. Obviously, it would require a special desk to coordinate all of this in terms these people would know where they're going to stay, they would be picked up, they would be brought in. So you're kind of trying to offer a complete service so that they come, they turn around, it's rapid, they go back and they follow it up. But that's certainly in the works, and we are definitely going to be pursuing this with some vigor as we go forward.
The Barbados government is again appealing to developed states to remove it from the middle-income country status in order to attract greater development aid. Foreign Trade Minister Maxine McLean told a meeting of a joint trade initiative of the European Union ACP group of countries that although the Barbados has been classified as a middle-income nation, it remains vulnerable to a number of economic challenges, similar to those of lesser developed countries.
One of the arguments that I made today, and I have made previously, certainly in our recent meeting in Brussels when we had the ACP EU Council of Ministers meeting, was the need to ensure that what we were able to do was to address the special circumstances of countries like Barbados. We may have done very well in terms of development when compared to other countries in the other regions, the Africa and Pacific elements of the ACP. But we also, in the Caribbean, are highly vulnerable to a number of externalities, economic, because we're open economy, but also environmental. And therefore, our belief is that as we participate in programs like this, we should be afforded the kind of support that would allow us to maintain the gains that we've had.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
When it comes to your family, what do you dream of? Enjoying the sights of Italy, seeing the Eiffel Tower for the first time, or experiencing the cuisine of Spain? Courts can make your family dream come true. Shop at Courts for a chance to win a dream cruise for a family of 4. Spend $999 or over at any Court store or online at shopcourts.com. Every $100 gets you a chance to win that cruise to give you more fun time with your family by cruising the Mediterranean, a value of over $20,000. So stop dreaming and start shopping to make your dream come true at Courts, bringing value home.
Welcome back with news from the region now. Management of regional airline LIAT has hit back at its pilots who have given the company until June the 1st to honor its new salary deal or face industrial action. Accusing LIAT of acting in bad faith, President of the Leeward Islands Airline Pilots Association, Captain Carl Burke, said they were issuing a final appeal to the company to make good on that salary package offer which the pilots accepted in January this year. Captain Burke said failure to honor the contract by June the 1st, the association will have no other choice but to act in order to protect the interests and rights of its members. But in a statement released today, the airline refuted the pilots' contention that management has acted in bad faith. The company noted that it was committed to open dialogue with its employees and their union representatives and for continued discussion to achieve a mutually agreeable outcome for all parties. And on the international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump said today that shared concern about Iran was driving Israel and many Arab states closer and demanded that Tehran immediately cease military and financial backing of terrorists and militias. In stressing threats from Iran, Trump echoed a theme laid out during weekend meetings in Saudi Arabia with Muslim leaders from around the world, many wary of the Islamic Republic's growing regional influence and financial muscle.
First time a US president has come to Israel on his first foreign trip.
We have before us a rare opportunity to bring security and stability and peace to this region.
And the first time they've paid a visit to the Western Wall due to political sensitivities. Donald Trump also hoping to be the first to solve the long-standing conflict here.
I'm Reuters' Emily Wither in Jerusalem. Trump has said on this trip that he believes peace is possible between the Israelis and the Palestinians, and has boasted in the past that he can bring the two sides together, and where his more experienced predecessors have failed, broker the ultimate deal.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, our screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic evening.